We're going to talk a little bit about The Acolyte. I didn't do a video this week. I was really, really busy this week with the holiday, and I was car shopping, and I just didn't have any time to sit down and make a video. This episode was bad. Episode 6 of The Acolyte. It was bad. This show has a problem. It has an inability to have more than 2 characters on the screen talking at one time. Like you just can't, like, literally every scene is just 2 characters on the screen at one time talking. Rarely do we have a third person on the screen, or a fourth person, or 4 people or 5 people on the screen at one time. And this show has a $180 million budget. How does this show with a $180 million budget, that's like $22.5 million per episode, and they're 30-minute long episodes, just literally each scene is just like one room. There's like the camera never moves. It's like right on the 2 characters. It's one scene, like very small scene. It's so bad. So besides that, we see things like this happen. Like, we legitimately have the stranger come here, Smilo Ren. He gets naked and goes for a little swim. Why does he go for a little swim? Who knows? There was no point of it. There was no reason for him to go for this swim. There was no story reason for him to do this. But he just decides to go for a swim. Was he getting a bath? Sure, maybe. After a Sith murks a whole bunch of Jedi, maybe he needs to go for a swim and a bath and get washed up. Maybe that's what it was. We've never seen Jedi or Sith get bathed before, so maybe that's what it was. Sure, maybe. But why? Why did it have to then show Osha stand there and look at her face there? Her eyes go directly to his penis. Directly to his penis. Why? Like, I just, why are they making Star Wars sexual? It's like any time, I get it. We just had Pride Month. We just saw like the final parade in San Francisco. All over my Twitter feed, it was showing all of the LGBTQ crowd marching, and all of the people that were marching that were buck naked. Why is it when it comes to gay people that everything has to be made sexual? And where am I getting at with this? You may be asking, and may be wondering. Well, Leslie Headland, the showrunner, the creator, is a lesbian. Why did she have to make this scene sexual? There's no reason for it to be sexual, like in this way. There was no reason for it, because that's not what Star Wars is. It's for kids. George Lucas has said Star Wars is for kids. That's what it is. It was made for kids. That still means that parents and adults can enjoy it, because you can still have meaningful and impactful stories for adults. But it's for kids. There's no reason for a naked man. Granted, the audience doesn't see it, but we know he's naked. And when he steps out, the main protagonist of the show very clearly looks directly at his dong. Directly at his dong. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be completely honest with you about this show. And that is ridiculous to me. It makes no sense. There is no reason for it. Zero reason for it. It's ridiculous. As Nerdrotic says, write what you know. Former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland. Script Trooper on Twitter says, nothing says depth like falling for the guy you just murdered all your friends in front of you because you saw, I think he meant to say, saw his naked ass. I mean, that is literally what happened in this episode. Like, this whole time, all she did was see him naked, saw his dong, and then she starts falling for him. It's ridiculous. Obsidian Odor goes, sun's out, buns out. It was so bad. Then you had all this stuff going on with May and Soul, it took Soul like the entire episode to finally come to the conclusion that it wasn't Osha that was on the ship with him. Instead of finally telling the Jedi that he fought a Sith, he decides to not tell them and take Osha away. Stop making the Jedi imbeciles. Stop it. Why do you keep making the Jedi idiots in Star Wars? The Jedi are the good guys. The Jedi have always been the good guys. Absolutely, the prequels showed them that they got arrogant and that they lost their way a bit because for a millennium, they were no Sith. I get it, but you don't need to make them all look like imbeciles. Well, we can't make them know that they're Sith because then that wouldn't make sense in the prequels. Well, then don't make a story like this. Don't make a story where you have to write the Jedi to look like imbeciles. Be a good writer. Be a good storyteller. Don't make a story that is this ridiculous and dumb. That is what you do. I don't know what else to tell you. That's the problem that we're seeing. It's not that we're mad simply because you're making the Jedi look dumb. We're mad because you're making the Jedi look dumb when you don't have to, because you don't have to make a story that doesn't make any freaking sense. That's the problem. There's so many other stories you could tell. There's so many other ways you could tell this story. There's so many other ways that you could tell a story about a Sith that doesn't contradict lore, that doesn't contradict canon, and not make the Jedi, not make everything that makes sense look dumb. But no, none of you care. None of the writers care. None of the writers are talented enough to do that. And that's the problem. And to make matters even worse, to make it even worse, the end of the episode. I don't know if the audio will play. But and you hear her start to breathe like Darth Vader at the end. That's Osha, the good guy, the good person, the good protagonist of the show, who's falling in love with the bad guy because she saw the dong of the bad guy, decides to put on his helmet, and when she puts it on, starts going like Darth Vader. Because every villain that we see, every single person who puts on a helmet in Star Wars has to breathe like Darth Vader now, or has to wear a helmet like Darth Vader. Because that's what you do. There's no originality in Star Wars. I could get past the Kylo Ren thing. It was his grandfather. He wanted to honor his grandfather. But what the hell is this? There's no reason for it. There's no point for it. Why is she breathing like that? It's like poetry. It rhymes. No, that's George Lucas. Don't take George Lucas's words and try and ruin it. Because that's all you're doing, is ruining it. It makes no sense. Darth Vader breathed like that because he had a respirator. He had a breathing issue because he burned. He nearly burned to death on Mustafar. She's breathing like that. Why? Because she can't breathe because you're putting on a mask on her. It's just pathetic and ridiculous is what it is. It's stupid is what it is. This show is terrible and there's no saving it at this point. We got 2 episodes left. You know, I'm sick of seeing the people comment, then why are you watching it? Don't watch it. Don't let them know that you're watching it. People don't. No, we have to call them out for how stupid they are, because they need to know how stupid they are. They need to understand that they're terrible writers. They need to know that they're bad writers. That's how they get better. To know that they're bad writers, that they're bad directors, that they're bad producers. If we just watch the first episode, they'll say that's bad. Then they're going to say, well, you didn't watch the rest of the season. It got better. You just watched the first episode. So how do you know? You can't tell us it's bad if you don't want, like, it's a catch-22. Like, if we would have just stopped at episode 1, then that's what they would have done to us. They would have said, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't watch the whole season. But now that we're watching the whole season, well, then just stop watching it. Don't watch it if you don't like it. Like, there's no winning. Like, we're watching it and telling you it's bad because it's bad. We're not going to stop watching it because if we stop watching it, then you're going to tell us to shut up. Like, I didn't want to watch the series. You know, and that's what it comes down to. If you watch my videos from 2 months ago, I sat there and said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to watch the show. I don't think I'm going to watch the show. And I put up a poll. I put up a poll on Twitter. I asked, should I watch it? Should I watch it? And it was close. It was neck and neck. It was neck and neck, but it came out that everybody said I should watch it. So I ended up watching. Obsidian Odor says the Jedi should be good to a fault, meaning they'll lose or die before they abandon their beliefs. Jedi are faithful, not stupid. Agreed. Agreed. And that's the thing with Soul in this episode. He should not have not told the Jedi what he found. That is the number one thing he should have done first. Before anything else is he should have told the Jedi, hey, I came across a Dark Force user. Whether you wanted to call him Sith, whatever, he should have told them what happened. And then all of a sudden, now they're going to say, we think it's Soul. Could Soul have done this? Could Soul have been the one? Out of nowhere, there's no reason in this entire series to this point to think that Soul would have turned to the dark side. And now they're trying to, maybe Soul did this. Could Soul have done this? Well, he's nowhere to be found. So bad. It's so bad. It's such a bad show. It's so bad. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know why people think it's good. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And then you have BDSM whip lightsaber girl out there who is just living out her wife's partner's fantasies, who's Leslie Headland on Star Wars. That's a thing now. It's just getting out of hand. Let me know your thoughts on Acolyte episode 6. Did you watch it? Did you like it? Did you think it's as bad as I did? It's horrendous. Look, there's 2 more episodes left. I still have one more flashback episode for sure because we got to see the Jedi fight the Jedi on the lesbian witch planet. I mean, that's what we got to see. So how are they going to tie this all up? I don't know, nor do I really care. Are we going to see who the real villain is? Is it Tenebris? Is it Plagueis? Is it somebody else? Is it Soul? Is it lesbian whip girl? Who knows? Who knows what it is? Regardless, it's going to be dumb. I mean, when it comes down to it at this point, it's going to be dumb because the writers are dumb. Look, it's gotten out of hand. It's gotten out of hand. And I just want to know what your thoughts are, though. I really do.